Hello everybody, welcome to episode 2 of Let's Create Something Awesome Together. I am Dungeon Master Wes, aka Matches Malone, aka Leotahk from Chronicles of Calastia. Thank you all for joining me tonight. It is a pleasure to see all of you. Tonight we have a very interesting stream. Also, I just realized that I have a window that's across the room from me and it's beaming light off of here. It kind of looks kind of cool. So tonight, real quick, we're going to take a look at our creation from last week. It's going to be a quick go through of it because we're going to get right into this week's creation. Last week we created the Iron Fist from Marvel Comics. And this was a fun build. There's a lot of interaction from you guys, so that it was super fun to build him. At the end of the day, all of his stuff is super fucking good. So Iron Fist, we based all of his attacks on dexterity. Which was awesome. I loved that whole idea of doing it that way. So his strength is only a 13 with a +1. I didn't want to give him like anything without a modifier under his strength because he's not weak by any means, but he's not like a Luke Cage, you know. His dex has the +5 with the 20 from his racial modifier. And we made him a wood elf, and we built him up to level 14. And he's a monk, obvious reasons. And Way of the Open Hand is what we went with for that. His Constitution is a 14 with a +2. His Intelligence is a 14 with a +2 as well. His Wisdom is a 16 with a +3, and his Charisma is a 10 with no bonuses. And the reason for that, the reason why we built him that way, is because we went off of a chart, basically, that Marvel Studios has for all of their characters. I keep looking over here, because that's where my camera normally is, but you're right here. His proficiency bonus is +5, and he has a walking speed of 70 feet, because of how we built him. That is incredible. His armor class with no armor is an 18, +5 to initiative, 101 hit points, and he has so much cool stuff. If you want to check out the character, he is available to be looked at, and I'm going to drop that link in the chat right now if you want to check him out. So you can check him out right there. So I don't want to go into like everything with him, because there's the obvious stuff like flurry of blows and stuff like that. Stillness of mind is so amazing. It's just incredible. And then wholeness of body. Once per long rest as an action, you can regain 42 hit points. You just poof, 42 hit points right back. That is awesome. So I think the same song is about to play, which is fine, whatever. I think that one that just played is a remix of it. So we have the deflect missiles ability that if you expend key points, you can do that. However, we found an ability that that made it to where we didn't need that. And we'll pull that up here in just a second. And it's actually this right here. Amazing. It's an amazing thing. Let's just go to it. Or maybe that's not it. Nope, that wasn't it. It's under features and traits. Maybe that was it, because we didn't have to expend it. Diamond Soul was really cool. Proficient in all saving throws. Shave too close? So I was shaving the other day, and I wasn't paying attention, And when I did it, I kind of went zzz, and took like almost all of it off of the right side. So it's growing back in. Leave me alone. But all right, let's go ahead and get out of that. We will return to creating the bracelet of the Iron Fist another time. We'll definitely come back to it. So we'll close that out for now. We'll close out Iron Fist. There's Luke Cage. So we're gonna go in here real quick, and we've got him ready. Using encumbrance, hit points, fixed, public, yada yada yada, milestone for advancement. Just poking fun at you. I know. All right, so let's go ahead and get to his race. So there's a lot of different races that you can go with for Luke Cage, but the race that jumps out to me, that works the best out of everything that's on here, you could go orc or half orc or something like that, but it speaks to me that he should be a Goliath. So for tonight, we're gonna make him a Goliath because of the +2 to strength and the +2 to constitution, natural athlete, stone's endurance, powerful build, and mountain born. So all of that stuff is just wonderful for this type of build. So natural athlete, you have proficiency in the athletic skill. That's important to remember later so we don't double dip. Stone's endurance, you can focus yourself to occasionally shrug off an injury. When you take damage, you can use your reaction to roll a d12, add your constitution modifier to the number rolled, and reduce the damage by that total. After you use this trait, you can't use it until you finish a short or long rest. While you work on the new overlay. Hell yeah. By the way, I have seen the new overlay that Sheriff is working on, and it is fucking great. For Chronicles of Calastia, when we return, which hopefully is soon, we are going to be doing it from home, each other's homes, instead of actually all of us together. We wanted to make sure that we get that rolling again because it's been several weeks and we want to play. Powerful build, you count as one size larger when determining your carrying capacity and the weight you can push, drag, or lift. That is awesome. Mountain born, that one doesn't necessarily apply to a Luke Cage, but it's good to remember that you have that. It's a good thing to take. So for this one, we're going to go with, out of all the classes that we have, Goliath is usually a fun race for certain characters. It was what some of my players used to represent Samoan type characters. I can definitely see that. By the way, welcome to the stream, my friend. How are you? For this build, we're not gonna look at anything today but the Barbarian. For the high hit dice, the primary ability score for that is strength, and your save so that you get bonuses on are strength and constitution. That is just perfect. So we're going with that. So you get 2 proficiencies to choose as for his skill. Intimidation is going to be one of them. He's a big guy. Animal handling and nature, not so much. Perception, I could see. Survival, I could see. So you could go with either one, but for this build, we're going to go with perception. You have your rage, so don't forget that. And then you have your unarmored defense as well. Don't forget that either. I'm going to change the song real quick because that's getting repetitive. Want some chill music? Let's play some chill music. Unarmored defense is awesome. While you're not wearing any armor, your armor class equals 10 plus your dex mod plus your con mod. You can use a shield and still gain this benefit. It's important to remember. So let's bump him up. Let's go ahead and just bump him up to level 2 right after we figure out his ability scores. All right, so normally when you're creating a character, you would roll for your ability scores. However, we have this wonderful power grid that essentially tells us what we need to do for everything. So we basically determined that like a 4 in durability or the 4 in strength would basically equate overall to your 18. So with his racial modifier, we're going to place his strength at 16, so he gets that +2. We determined this last week. Let me close that one so I quit clicking it. We're going to come back to intelligence. Speed. So if the strength equates out to an 18, if it's a +4, your speed, which essentially is going to be your dexterity, is going to be just a little bit below that. And by a little bit, I mean you're going to be at like a 12. Maybe yeah, I think 12 works for that. 12 works for that. You know what? No. For this one, you want that to be your 18 because of your durability. And the reason why you want it to be that, you want that to be your straight 18 that has no modifier. And the reason why you're going to want that is because of that, one of the abilities that you have. Let me go back to it. Is for that unarmored defense. Your armor class is 10 plus your dex plus your con. So you want your dex or your con to be higher than the other. So essentially you could go either way. And you know what? I had this all in my head a certain way to build him, and now I'm questioning it all because I'm looking at different things with it. So maybe we do put that into your constitution. Do that, and then your dex, maybe your dex is a 14. Your charisma is going to be a dump stat. Your wisdom, he's wise, but he's not like super smart. Or he's wise and intelligent, but he's like street smart, is what I'm trying to say. So you could go either way with those. Intelligence is essentially, I could see you throwing like a 12 in that, and I could see wisdom being I could probably see wisdom being at least a 13, because you can later on modify it if you want to. Because that also will give you your bonus to it as well. So those are our modifiers right now. If you disagree, feel free to say so. I am not opposed to people disagreeing with those. I am not opposed whatsoever. Anyway, we'll move on. So we're going to go back to our class. We're going to go ahead and bump him up to level 2. You gain reckless attack, Starting at second level, you can throw aside all concern for defense to attack with fierce desperation. When you make your first attack on your turn, you can decide to attack recklessly. Doing so gives you advantage on melee weapon attack rolls using strength during this turn, but attack rolls against you have advantage until your next turn. Danger Sense. At second level, you gain an uncanny sense of when things nearby aren't as they should be, giving you an edge when you dodge away from danger. You have advantage on dexterity saving throws against effects that you can see, such as traps and spells. To gain this benefit, you can't be blinded, deafened, or incapacitated. So good stuff for that. Standard Barbarian stuff on that. So we're going to bump him up to level 3. Now you get to choose your primal path. There are several things that you can go with for this. For this build, we're gonna go Totem Warrior. And our Totem Spirit is going to be Bear. Alright, so let's minimize those. Let's go ahead and jump to level 4 now. So, you could choose to do an ability score improvement here. I'm not going to. Oh, excuse me. Instead, I'm going to choose a feat. And there's a couple of feats that you could go with here. We're going to go down here to Tough. Your hit point maximum increases by an amount equal to twice your level when you gain this feat. Whenever you gain a level thereafter, your hit point maximum increases by an additional 2 hit points. So we could add that in now, or we could save it for later when we're stronger. But I think it's better to do it now because you gain so much from it. So we're going to leave it there. Level 5. We'll be building this to level 14 just like we did with Iron Fist. So you gain your extra attack. Very standard. Instead of attacking once, you can attack twice. And then you gain fast movement. Your speed increases by 10 feet while you aren't wearing heavy armor. Well, we're not going to wear armor at all. Period. Yeah, Sheriff, if you're here, essentially, yes. That's fine, but I don't want the name. I don't want them built in. I don't think, unless you think that's better. Aspect of the Beast. At 6th level, you gain a magical benefit based on the totem animal of your choice. Choose the same animal you select at 3rd level or a different one. So, we're going to choose Bear again. It's going to be Bear, Bear, Bear through the whole thing. So, level 7. We're halfway there. You gain Feral Instinct. By the 7th level, your instincts are so honed that you have advantage on initiative rolls. That's very, very important to have. And the reason why is because there's not very many times that he's not going to be on the front line. He's going to be up there. You want him to have advantage on initiative rolls. Additionally, if you are surprised at the beginning of combat and aren't incapacitated, you can act normally on your first turn, but only if you enter your rage before doing anything else on that turn. It's important to remember. So let's go ahead and bump him to level 8. Oh, there goes my mouse. I threw my mouse. All right, here's where we can do another ability score improvement. We're not going to. Instead, we're going to do a feat. And this time, we're going to go with Tavern Brawler. Tavern Brawler, accustomed to rough and tumble fighting, using whatever weapons happen to be at hand, gain the following benefits. Increase your strength or constitution score by 1 to a maximum of 20. You're proficient in improvised weapon. Your unarmed strike uses a d4 for damage. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike or an improvised weapon on your turn, you can use a bonus action to attempt to grapple the target. So that will work. So remember when we were looking at our build earlier? We can use that constitution boost to bump that to our 20. So we're going to bump our constitution. Our HP is already 117. So, all right. Level 9, Brutal Critical. Beginning at 9th level, you can roll 1 additional weapon damage die when determining the extra damage for a critical hit with a melee attack. This increases to 2 additional dice at 13th level and 3 additional dice at 17th level. Very, very standard. 10th level, Spirit Walker. You can cast Commune with Nature, the Commune with Nature spell, but only as a ritual. When you do so, a spiritual version of one of the animals you chose for totem spirit or aspect of the beast appears to you to convey the information you seek. Let's go to level 11. Relentless Rage. We may start on next week's with how fast we're piling through this. We're only a half hour in and we're almost done with this build. Starting at 11th level, your rage can keep you fighting despite grievous wounds. If you drop to 0 hit points while you're raging and don't die outright, you can make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw. If you succeed, you drop to 1 hit point instead. Each time you use this feature, the DC increases by 5. And then it resets when you rest. Short or long. Level 12. Well, barbarians are pretty simple. You're right. So this is where I basically stopped deciding what I wanted to do as far as the build initially. I normally go with feats just constantly, just feat. We already have the athlete feat. We could go durable here, but why would we do that? Because we already have the main benefit right here, so we don't need that. Grappler is good. Allows you to grab a hold of these motherfuckers and just throw them. Just lock on. You have advantage on attack rolls against a creature you are grappling. You can use your action to try and pin a creature grappled by you. To do so, make another grapple check. If you succeed, you and the creature are both restrained until the grapple ends. It's not bad. It's not bad. Let's see what else we got, though. Heavily armored is not something we want. We're not going to bother with that. Martial Adept might be good. Let's take a look at Rally. Well, as long as you have athletics or acrobatics, you're going to trounce the heck out of them. Just remember, grapple is rather OP for almost everything in the monster manual. Pretty much. On your turn, you can use a bonus action to expend 1 superiority die to bolster the resolve of one of your companions. When you do so, choose a friendly creature who can see you. That creature can... So that maybe Rally isn't good for this because we have no charisma modifier. Let's come back to the Martial Adept and look at a couple other options. Mobile. You can increase your speed by 10 feet. When you use the dash action, difficult terrain doesn't cost you extra movement. Make a melee attack against the creature. You don't provoke opportunity attacks from that creature for the rest of your turn, whether you hit or not. Mobile's another feat that's good to keep in mind for that. I personally think that I think Sentinel might be good. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, the creature's speed becomes 0 for the rest of the turn. Creatures provoke opportunity attacks from you even if they take the disengage action before leaving your reach. Whenever a creature within 5 feet of you makes an attack against a target other than you, and that target doesn't have this feat, you can use your reaction to make a melee weapon attack against the attacking creature. So that's another one to keep in mind. I want to look at Savage Attacker real quick. Once per turn, you can roll damage for a melee weapon attack. You can re-roll the weapon's damage dice and use either roll. That's not as good as it sounds like it should be. Resilient. I'm thinking Sentinel or Sentinel Mobile or Martial Adept with one of the with some of this in here. I think the menacing attack could work. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can expend 1 superiority die to attempt to frighten the target. You add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll, and the target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it is frightened until the end of your turn. What's our DC on that, though? See, I'd like to know that. We can look at that in a moment. Lunging attack. You make a melee weapon attack on your turn. You can expend 1 superiority die to increase your reach for that attack by 5 feet. If you hit, you add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll. Okay, that's not bad. Maneuvering attack. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can spend 1 superiority die. English is difficult right now. To maneuver one of your comrades into a more advantageous position. You add the superiority die. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep messing up. To the attack's damage roll, and you choose a friendly creature who can see or hear you. That creature can use its reaction to move up to half its speed without provoking opportunity attacks from the target of your attack. That's not bad. Blaine, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this? Honestly, there's a lot of options. Just don't go with the grappler one. What was your comment about Grappler earlier? Grapple is rather OP versus almost everything in the monster manual. So do you mean like everything else is OP against it, or Grappler is like, yo, hey, you can pretty much grapple everything? I've never used it in 5e. So in the meantime, while he's typing, because I'm sure he's typing, let's go ahead and jump to level 13. Brutal critical. At 13th level, you can roll 2 additional weapon damage dice when determining the extra damage for a critical hit with a melee attack. This increases to 3 dice at 17th level. In short, if you're proficient in athletics or acrobatics, you are already trouncing things. Grappler gives you advantage when you already are getting a major bonus over what everyone else is able to do. I can see why that might be a little too much. I think we're gonna leave menacing attack and maneuvering attack. Totemic attunement. At 14th level, you gain a magical benefit based on a totem animal of your choice. You can choose the same animal you selected previously or a different one. We're going to choose bear. While you're raging, any creature within 5 feet of you that's hostile to you has disadvantage on attack rolls against targets other than you or another creature with this feature. An enemy is immune to this effect if it can't see or hear you, or if it can't be frightened. So sorry, I was actually planning on doing this with my rogue in the campaign as my way of passively subduing people so I don't have to kill them all. Alright, so we got all of that done. 201 hit points. Those are what our ability scores are at. After modifiers. So we have that 18 in strength with the +2 racial bonus. Our base score was 16. Our modifier is +4. Our dexterity, the total score is 14. With +2 modifier, base score is 14. We have a constitution of 20. The modifier is +5. The base score was 18 with a racial modifier of +1 and a miscellaneous bonus of +1. That's from one of our feats. Intelligence, a 12 with a modifier +1. No racial bonus, so our base score is 12. Total score on our wisdom is 13. Modifier +1. Base score 13. Racial bonus +0. Charisma, it's a 10 with no modifier. Base score was a 10. No racial modifier. Alright, so we're going to go into our description now. Luke Cage is 6'6" and 425 pounds. So we're going to add that in. His hair is black and his eyes are brown. Hair is black, shaved, skin. I always put like their actual race there, which I guess we don't need to put that because the skin is fine. His eyes we don't really need to worry about. Height. Oh, his eyes are brown. Okay. brown. Height is why did I key in brown there? Eyes are brown. Height is 6'6", 425 pounds. I don't remember his age. Last time we put in his allies, so we're gonna put Iron Fist, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, the Punisher. So we'll close that. Organizations, Defenders, Heroes for Hire, Avenger, New Avengers, I think is what it was. Mighty Avengers, New Avengers, Thunderbolts. We're not gonna add all of this shit. We're just gonna put some Thunderbolts, the crew. Boom. So now is where we're going to look at his background. His background is going to be a folk hero. And the reason for that is because he's the hero of Harlem. So that's perfect for that. Not Fisher, but folk hero. I don't know why it jumped around there. Choose an artisan's tool. You could really do pretty much anything here and it would be all right. I would say the Smith's tools would be fine. So we're all good on that. So intimidation, perception. We're actually going to preview our character real quick. And then we'll come back and take care of it afterwards. I'm not quite sure why we have animal handling as our as one of them. I don't remember it being a it must be because of commune with nature, unless it's a default one. I don't remember that being default though. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's fine. Animal handling's fine. I'm pretty sure it's a default one. So, all right, let's go back and our armor class is 17. That's not bad. Let's go back to our builder. Now we're going to go to equipment, and we're just going to look into martial melee weapons. We can really put like anything here. But what we're going to do is we're going to scroll all the way down here, and we're going to look at a couple of things. Equipment. He doesn't really have a whole lot of weapons, because he's gonna, like, he uses his fists for everything. So I do know of one weapon that he uses, and that's a chain. It's very common that he uses. So we're gonna give him a flail. Any simple weapon. Let's give him a club for that. He's got his javelins, his artisan's tools, which we already chose that. What the fuck? All right. All right, so let's add his starting equipment real quick. All right. Javelin, flail, club. So what we want to do now is add more items. We're going to add a couple other things. We don't want them to be common. We want them to be weapons, obviously. So we're going to go with chain. We may have to create it ourselves. It doesn't look like there is an actual chain. Flail of warning. Let's search for all types of flail. Go with a whip. Go with a whip. Let's look at the Hellfire flail. We're gonna use this for another build later on. We're gonna build Ghost Rider. Yeah, true. You roll a 20 on it with this magic weapon. Okay. All right, let's take a look at whips. And we can flavor it Hellfire Whip, Vicious Whip, Dern's Tentacle Whip. Whip-like strand of tough muscle. It's muscle is what it is. All right, so let's Vicious Whip. I would say it's either Vicious Whip or a +2 whip for that. What do you think? You can always fluff it as a chain. Yeah. Which one, Vicious or the +2 whip? Vicious. All right, we'll add that. All right, now what I want to do is I want to find some gauntlets. So we're gonna remove the weapon thing. Gauntlets. Do we really want it to be Gauntlets of Ogre Power? So the 19 doesn't really matter to me. Are those the only gauntlets? Gauntlets of Flaming Fury. Really? Maybe gloves would work better. So these are the gloves that I actually I thought it was an ability that negated our monks, but I threw these on the Iron Fist, and he can now use them and not have to expend a key point to grab something. Living gloves. So there's not really. Let's go back here. Let's add that on. I wish there was an easy way to look them up on here, because there's a specific gauntlets that I'm looking for. Let's scroll through everything here and try to find them. Found them. Those aren't there. So we're going to have to basically create what I'm thinking of. So we got about 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and take a look. +2 initiative, 17 walking speed. Yeah, this will definitely work. Let's export the sheet as well so I can save it. Go to Builder. What's next? Export sheet. Thank you. I'll grab that in a few. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to create another magic item. Wondrous item is what it will be. All right. Power Man gloves. We'll go in and we'll do all this stuff later. It does require attunement. Enter the magic item attunement thing. Wondrous item. Legendary requires attunement. Alright. So let's go ahead and create it. We'll have this done in just a few minutes. Oh, rarity. Oops. Legendary. This field is required. Filler text. Create magic item. We'll edit that later. I can come back to it. So, we're going to add a modifier. Modifier type is going to be a bonus to choose an ability score. It will be to your strength. Let's see what that does. Hopefully it doesn't cause much of an issue. So this one's gonna take some creation as well. So maybe when we come back and we create the bracelet of the Iron Fist, we'll also create the Power Man gloves. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to Power Man. We're gonna save it real quick. Go back to our characters. We're gonna go to edit. Go to equipment. Add items. Add. So let's see what if it did it right. In use. Attune. Power Man gloves. Wield. I don't think I made those correctly, but let's see. Let's see if I did. I did not. So, we'll have to figure that out because it's not boosting it. So we'll have to power glove. Everything else is child's play. All right. So when we come back, when we do our bracelets of the Iron Fist, we will also work on the power glove, and we'll figure out what we did wrong with that as well. So that is going to do it for tonight. Thank you everybody for tuning in to episode 2 of Let's Create Something Awesome Together. I have been Dungeon Master Wes, aka Matches Malone, aka Leotahk from Chronicles of Calastia, which we hope will be returning very, very soon. We'll see you next week, same time, and we're going to start on our next build. Character 3 from the Defenders, Jessica Jones. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.